I got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news, I am the bad news. And in this video, we install even more sound deadening to the doors of the DaSlapBox, which is my 2011 Scion XB car audio build. It's not a race car, it's a base car. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I already sound deadened the doors. So in the last video, I tried to squeeze out a little bit more mid-bass out of my door speakers by installing some boom mats speaker baffles. It didn't really work the way I wanted it to. I could hear what they were going for, but at least in my application, this is not the solution, which I half knew was gonna happen. To be honest, I did not think I was gonna magically be able to find some mid-bass by installing some foam speaker baffles. I would have been much more surprised had it actually worked, you know what I mean? So I ended up just buying some new speakers. I picked up some Defbon's Apocalypse APM67 ACs. They're the Arnold series, the Ferrite version. But while I had my doors taken apart and all that to install the boom mats, I noticed that I really could have done a better job on the sound deadening on the doors. Before I go ahead and add these speakers, I'm gonna finish the deadening, which means basically everything you see is gonna get deadened, as well as on the inside, that anything that doesn't have deadening is gonna get it. We'll go ahead and add a layer of foam. You know, gonna go ahead and do it right. Both the doors and the plastic door panels needed more sound deadening, and neither one of them had any closed cell foam on them. So I was also gonna add a layer of closed cell foam to the outer skin of the door and to the entirety of the interior panel. So this is some Noico 150 mil. So this is the stuff we're gonna use on the inside of the door. Since we're on the case for mid-bass anyways, it kind of makes sense to do some sound deadening. I really wanna give the speakers the best environment possible to do their job, you know what I'm saying? So I wanna have my doors as sealed as possible. Using the sound deadening kind of creates almost like a box for the speakers. It's not quite the same, and you're not gonna get quite the same results, but you know, it's pretty close. So that's what we're gonna do today. That's where we're picking up on that project that we started a while back. In order to sound deaden, you're gonna of course need some sound deadening. I use Noico 80 mil. However, Noico stuff is kind of hard to come by now. So right now I recommend Silas. It's on Amazon. Anyway, the first step you wanna do is to clean it off. So we're gonna use some alcohol and a rag and just get this all clean. And the reason you use the alcohol and the rag is just to make sure it's really clean so that the sound deadening can stick to it. Then you pretty much take your sound deadening, apply it everywhere. You'll measure out the space that you're cutting out the sound deadening for. And it doesn't have to be measured super accurately. You know, you kind of do that just to use your sound deadening in the most effective way, and then cut it out, lay it down, and roll it. It's actually a super easy process. Generally, the hardest thing is taking your car apart. I'll show you what we got so far. So obviously we hit a lot right here. I did a lot inside here that you can't really see. Just gotta take my word for it. So next I'm gonna put a little layer of foam on the inside before it gets too dark. Once you're happy with the sound deadening job, you're gonna spray down the sound deadening with some alcohol and a rag again, just to make sure there's no dust or anything like that. And the adhesive on the closed cell foam sticks perfectly. And be warned, because this stuff is not quite as forgiving as the butyl in the sound deadening, like the rubber part. The adhesive in the sound deadening, you can take it off and reposition it. The adhesive on the closed cell foam, you cannot do that. Once that stuff hits the surface, it's pretty much on there. And if you remove it, what you're likely gonna do is actually take the foam off of the adhesive. It's gonna basically like ruin it. Be aware of that. Ask me how I know. All right, little update. Hit a little more sound deadening, but mostly you'll see it's all gray inside now because it's all this foam right here. And this is where I'm calling it for the day. A lot more sound deadening done. Still got to do this, dude, but this is pretty much good. So this is the passenger side. This is the one I haven't hit yet. This is Chulo checking out the past job. Okay. If you saw the video I did where I sound deadened the doors, this is where they got to from that video. This is what I did this morning. So basically the same thing, but just like, you know, a little more. And so it's gonna go from this, then I'm gonna add the layer of the foam. This stuff, closed cell foam. This is 150 mil, but we're gonna put a layer of this on this door, and then we're gonna finish the sound deadening on this door, and then also put a layer of the closed cell foam. That's all I got. Right. This is what we look like after getting all the foam. If you're new to car audio, you may be wondering why we're using sound deadening in the first place, and there's a couple really key reasons that you want sound deadening. It's gonna help limit the amount of vibrations coming from all the different panels, and those vibrations cause you to lose the energy that could be music. Adding sound deadening to a body panel or an interior panel basically just makes it heavier, which makes it less prone to vibrating. Not only are you hearing it, but it's also taking away from the sound that you want to be hearing, you know what I'm saying? It's a dual nuisance. Flimsy plastic door panels, they're gonna vibrate and shake and make noise a lot easier than a door panel that's more solid because it's heavier with sound deadening.
Let's compare that to the back door.
And also, that added weight creates an additional barrier from the outside so that less outside noise gets in. It just makes it a cleaner ride on the inside. And then with less vibrations and less outside noise getting in, the overall ride is quieter. So say you had the music turned off, the just overall road noise would be less if you had a sound deadened car versus a non-sound deadened car. That quieter ride also means that your speakers don't have to work as hard to make sound. So basically, your speakers will sound louder at a quieter volume simply because they're not fighting the road noise and the vibrations, all the little noises that your car is making. So even for non-bass heads, for non-car audio purposes, just for an overall quieter and more comfortable ride, sound deadening can make a huge improvement. And like I said, those are all just the benefits to any car. That's not even talking about the bass head benefits that you get from having a more solid barrier for your bass to bounce around. Probably one of the biggest misconceptions you see about sound deadening is from people that think that by installing sound deadening, their shit's not gonna hit as hard. And it's completely the opposite. If you got for real bass, it's gonna make noise either way. It's just gonna make noise in a different way. If your trunk is sound deadened, instead of the trunk itself flexing, the whole trunk is gonna flex. You know what I'm saying? All that vibrating is actually killing your bass. Trust me, sound deadening equals harder hitting bass, period. End of discussion. I mean, just think about it like this. Your sub is not in a cardboard box. Your sub is in a wood box. The reason for that is because you want something solid for that bass to move around in and do its thing. If it's really hidden, all sound deadening is gonna do is help it hit harder. I promise. I don't know who needed to hear that. And, all right, rant over. And you really don't have to get full coverage, full crazy the way you see me doing. 25% coverage on the surface that you're trying to sound deaden will make a massive improvement. The first like 25% of coverage is probably half of your overall results. So I definitely recommend having sound deadening, and I definitely recommend at least 25% coverage on the panel you're covering. The important part is having some sound deadening, period. DaBadNewz said it. Quote me. Personally, I think sound deadening is vital in any car audio build, and it's useful in every car. It just creates a much quieter, much more comfortable ride. The quieter ride with less rattling and stuff makes it feel smoother. I can't explain. If you haven't done it, you don't know.
Passenger door, hit the driver door yesterday. So, catch up on this one. Gonna take off the plastic, pull out the speaker, sound deadening. All right, and this is where we stand right now. Got the rest of the deadening on the door, got the rest of the deadening on the inside of the door, and did the foam for the inside. I'm gonna leave this unfoamed for now. I only have the one box left, and so I wanna make sure I leave some for the back doors. But this is where we at right now.
So the sound deadening will help prevent noise from getting in, and the foam will help to minimize the effects of it once it gets in. Like, it helps to absorb the higher mid-range frequencies and stuff like that. So basically that, when you're driving, it'll kind of brings that down a little bit. Yeah, we're kind of gonna leave it there for now. I'm gonna include a quick little preview of what the doors look like, fully sound deadened, fully foamed, ready to be reinstalled, even with my new DefBox speakers installed. I still gotta get this little strip off of here, but other than that, these are ready. Put the plastic back on. Got the DefBox AP M67 AC, got them mounted. Same thing over here. You'll see this one doesn't have that little line right here, so we gotta make the other side look like this one. In the next video, we're actually gonna check out the install of the Arnolds. I had to cut out my adapters, had to widen them a little bit, and then, actually wire everything up.
Here we go.
Check out the next video for the install, and stay tuned. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, leave a comment. Let me know what you liked about it, or Let me know what you didn't like about it, if you saw something wrong with it. That kind of engagement just really helps out the channel, and I personally just really appreciate that. Special shout out to the returning viewers, and you know, if you're new here, big thanks to you for taking the chance on a new creator. This channel is normally about car audio, but I'm into pretty much anything custom cars or DIY maintenance and modification related, so there's a lot of that in this channel. So if you like that kind of stuff, I definitely recommend you subscribe so you can see more. Another way to see more is to check me out on Instagram and TikTok at DaBadNewz, DaBadNewz. You can support the channel by checking out the links in the description. Some of those links are affiliate links, which means that as an affiliate, I'll receive a small commission. You'll pay nothing extra. It's kind of just a win-win for both of us and a nice way to support the channel. With all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, so I will see the bad news first. Skirt!